right. I'm just waiting to see if there's people because I'm a little early, about 1 minute early. We're on the side of the road is what we are. But it's by a Starbucks. So we're going to see if this works. They had internet. Okay. So I'm pulling up our group. And seeing if we can share something in the pinned comments so that you guys will have it. Okay. So I'm going to pin this comment here, and this is just the questions that we're going to ask for today. Okay. So as you look in the comment section, you're going to see our questions for today. So even if you don't have your book, you could just listen along and then answer the questions, either in the comments as you watch the replay, or in your journal or in your book. Okay. So I'm in a little bit of a different location today just because I have to go train clients actually at 4:30. So I've got about 15 or 20 minutes. So I'm entering this comment in, and then I'm going to pin it so that you'll be able to see it when you guys jump on. Okay, so we got the comment pinned, and I'll just kind of show you my hilarious setup. So there's the Starbucks, and I got a Starbucks just to make sure that I could use their internet and not feel bad about it. But my gym is just right down the road. I'm at Body Solutions during the week. So that's kind of the lay of the land. And then the road, that's the road there. So we're going to see if we can make this work even with the road. All right. So in our last section, we decided to look at how what we would do if we had more time. So and I just looked at my notes a little bit, and so hopefully you guys have a little list of things that you could do if you have more time. And I said we would talk about boundary setting a little bit more. So that's our topic for today. So as you're looking kind of at setting these boundaries, I in my mind was thinking that we could kind of put it together with our practice today, that sharing the truth exercise. So I'm going to go ahead and start with sharing your truth practice 2, setting boundaries. I'm going to pull up, make sure I have the correct version here that you guys have. There are many significant others and friends who do not support their loved ones in their journey of self-love. Many times it is a direct result of their insecurity in the relationship or a lack of self-esteem. Merriam-Webster defines boundaries as unofficial rules about what should not be done, limits that define acceptable behavior. Have you set boundaries? Do you actually tell people what they are? If the people in your life are sabotaging you or discouraging you, you need to set a boundary. Let them know what they are saying or doing is hurtful to you and your goals. You may be able to control their actions, but you can control whether or not you allow them to discourage you. So as we get started, we're going to answer these questions. So I'm going to go ahead and allow time for you to answer the questions below, and if I don't give you enough time, you can just pause the replay, okay? So what changes would you like to make in your life if you weren't afraid of another person's disapproval? So what changes would you like to make in your life, or would you make in your life, if you weren't afraid of another person's disapproval? So I'm going to give you time to write that in your journal or in your book. And so then for question 2, how could you start the process of being truthful with people about what you want for your life? So again, how could you start the process of being truthful with people about what you want for your life? Okay, I'm going to pause. So then my note here, at the very bottom of your book, if you're in your book, I mention my Olympic lifting coach, Matt Terry, and then also my therapist, Barbara Bayer. So this is a very difficult thing to do sometimes if you don't have a solid support system, or if possibly you don't have like those figures in your life that you can go to maybe support you and change. So sometimes as we're making a life change, the people very closest to you are going to be the ones that are giving you the most kind of grief. So my note here is that you may find people in your life very resistant to your setting boundaries. This is one area that my therapist and Olympic lifting coach helped me to navigate. Sometimes your only supportive people are those who are trained in offering support during life change. And I urge you to reach out to supportive professionals if your closest relationships become distressing as you set boundaries. Okay? So, our 2 questions. Are there any changes in your life that you would like to make if you weren't thinking about what another person thought about it? Okay? And then how could you start that process of being truthful with them about what you want for your life? So, some of my notes here is that this isn't about managing other people or managing other people's response to you, but this is more starting to state what you actually want for your life and for your day. Okay? So, in some respects, and it goes along with the blog that I posted today, in 2015, I was kind of at a part of my life where I had to let some people go. And I've still kind of had that going along. But in 2015, I was kind of setting the stage for all of this work that I'm going to do now in 2018. And what I found as I was looking around trying to make those changes is that I really didn't have family that quite understood, and I didn't really have friends that quite understood. And I almost had to... Part of that in 2016 is what kind of swooped me down into some sadness and some darkness a little bit. So I just wanted to kind of reiterate to you that while I'm kind of drumming up maybe some fire under you to do what you want for your life and to really think about what you want, I also want to caution you that there is going to possibly be a little bit of backlash. Okay? And so the best way to prepare for that is maybe not to be angry with the people in your life that don't understand. I mean, there's going to be some of that. That's a little bit natural. But as you change, you might realize, you might feel like the people in your life are changing, or they're different, or they don't like you. But really, they probably are just the same person that they've always been, but you've actually changed. So when you actually start to change, and when you actually want to like change your schedule and change what you're doing in your life, you'll provoke that fear in them possibly a little bit. And then they're going to maybe put up some resistance. So I just wanted to kind of bring that to your attention. And you might already know that. Like maybe you're already there. Like maybe you have this big list of things that you just made, and you're going down that list, and you specifically can pick out some things that you are afraid of. So for any of those things on your list, what I would suggest to you is that if it's important to you and you're afraid to tackle it alone, simple things like even just starting like any kind of group or class. It doesn't have to be one-on-ones, but a group or a class, or a coach or a mentor or a therapist. So I have mentioned before that I rotate my coach, Matt Terry, and then my therapist like every other week, so that I have someone each week to talk to about kind of like what my plans are and what's going on, because I want to keep going down my path, and I don't want to be unkind to the people in my life at all, but then I also don't want to be unkind to myself. So that is kind of where both of those people help me, is to just keep me on my path. And to just be there. Okay? One of the things I wanted to tell you, though, like a specific example for me, most recently, and then almost kind of ongoing. One of the small changes I wanted to make in my life was just like about my schedule. So that I have this pocket of time every other Sunday when my son is at his dad's. And it's in the morning, like right before church. And like my favorite thing to do, and I'm going to kind of take you guys with me a little bit on what my favorite kind of thing to do on Sunday mornings is, this on day 5. But I like to get up, and I like to go to the gym, and I like to journal, and I like to go to the pool, and I like to do a lot of active things. And so I've had a boyfriend for the last 3 years, and when he's off on a Sunday, what he would like to do is sleep in. So, and that might just seem like the littlest thing, but with the way that my relationships were in the past, to kind of like speak those things, or to ask for those things, to ask to do something different, to be able to be okay, like leaving him and not spending time doing what he wants to do and then going to do my own thing. I either wouldn't have done it at all, because I would have been afraid of like disconnection between me and my partner, or I would have just like pulled away from my partner altogether, and just kind of felt like I would have felt like that they were like purposefully holding me back on purpose. So what I had to kind of go through even just this last few weeks is just, even though now we live together, it was a little easier when we lived apart. Like Sunday mornings, I would like leave the apartment and like we would meet back up, and it was much easier. Church was really close. And then just even the schedule shift from when he moved in with me, for me to actually go and do all the stuff that I really love to do would require us to drive separately. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there as a sort of thing, but it was big to me because that chunk of time, I can't get that anywhere else. And so maybe there's a chunk of time, or maybe there's an activity that you want to do, and there's just that fear there, okay? And so luckily I do have a partner that's very supportive of me doing what I want to do. It hurts his feelings a little bit to know that I want to go off and do every other thing and not, sleep in with him on Sundays and then drive separately to church. But he gets it, and so I was able to explain it. So it might take a few weeks, and it might take a few tense moments, but I just wanted to kind of encourage you to go ahead and go through those tense moments with the people in your life. And then again, like if those tense moments are too intense, that's where pulling in an outside person like a coach or a therapist or some kind of teacher, or a club or a group would be very helpful. Okay? Okay. So, since I do have to get down the road in just a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and close up. And I see someone just jumped on, and so hi. So I can't tell who you are because it doesn't say your name. But the replay is here. And again, as we're thinking about changes to our life, I just want to press upon you to go for it. To go for it, and then to not be afraid to get support if needed, and to not let the people in your life, not to let the fear of losing people in your life or upsetting people in your life stop you from going for it. Okay? Hi, Julie. All right, I have to sign off because I have a client, but the replay will pop up, and then the journaling questions are there. Okay? Love you, Julie. Bye.